Welcome to Buckets, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. My name's Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network, and this is your Wednesday 9-10 play-in tournament best bets episode. I have to catch myself because I keep saying 8-9. It's not the 8-9. It's the 9-10. The 8-9 technically is on Friday. We'll talk about that later. Joining me for this episode, Jay Money, the red hot. Absolutely. Sorry, he doesn't like red hot because that's just like his normal temperature. His normal temperature being red hot compared to the rest of us. Jay Money. You can follow him on Twitter at Jay Money is Money. Jay, what's good?
Yeah, everything cool with me, man. Hey, ready, getting locked in to playoff mode, man. Playoff J is unlocked, so ready to get some cash.
All right. Also joining me is Sean Little from MSG Networks. You can catch him on Twitter at Chicago Flow. Sean, how you doing, my man?
I'm great, fellas. We made it. We're here. It is NBA playoff time, man. The roller coaster that was the regular season is over. Now let's lock in for some competitive NBA hoops.
Yeah, competitive. No, people are going to play in the games. They're actually going to earn their fucking money. Let's go. Finally.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. OKC New Orleans makes me nervous on that front. Anyway, all right, we're going to do best bets for the Wednesday slate. And if you have not caught it, if you're listening to this before Tuesday night's games, we have best bets for that one. We have Clippers Suns and Knicks Cavs series preview up. You should be able to find in your feed by the time you listen to this as well the 3-6s between the Warriors, Kings, and Sixers Nets up as well. We will have the 2-7s up on Wednesday after the play-in tournament sets those on Tuesday night. Those will be up on Wednesday as well. So lots of stuff here. We are going to have game one best bets on Thursday. We are going to have futures episode on Friday. So we got lots for you to dive into this week here on Buckets. You can find all this in the award-winning Action Network app. It's the best way for you to track your picks. You get up to second information where the bets and money are coming in on. Make sure to check that out as well. As we always do here on Best Bets, we're going to go around the table. We'll list our best bets, and then we'll do the cap. Sean, let's start with you this time. Sean, what's your best bet for the Wednesday slate?
Chicago Bulls +5.
Okay.
For this play-in side.
Okay, God help you. Jay, what's your best bet for the Wednesday slate?
I'm also on the Bulls +5.
Okay, God go with you as well. God should go with both of you and be with you as you're taking the Chicago Bulls in a must-win game. I'm very excited to hear this cap because holy shit, you're taking the Bulls on the road in a must-win game. I am going to take the over in Raptors Bulls 214.5, and I'm going to take the Oklahoma City Thunder +5.5 versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Let's start with the Bulls Raptors cap. Jay, let's start with you. Look, this specific matchup, Chicago had a chance to get into the 7-8. They had a good tiebreaker situation. All they really needed to do was they needed to beat the Toronto Raptors, and they had a chance because the Raptors are not good, and the Bulls did what they always do, which is they fucked around way too much in the second half, and the Raptors got separation. Why do you like Chicago here?
Yeah, well, first off, I can't talk you off taking the underdogs in a winner-take-all game right there. So I'll start there. I think the Bulls are going to win this game outright. So I'm glad to take the 5 points with them as the cushion there. I think the Raptors are done. I think you're going to see 2 or 3 players depart from the team as well as the coach as well. I think with guys like Patrick Beverley coming over there to the Bulls, they want this game. DeMar DeRozan going back to Toronto as well. They're 7-3 straight up and against the spread last 10 games versus the Raptors as well, and also post All-Star break, the Bulls have the #1 defense in the NBA, whereas the Raptors can play some good defense as well. But like I say, they're not really consistent. They're not that consistent in my opinion on the offensive end. So both teams great defensively. I do give a small edge to the Bulls here offensively. Like I said, I think they're going to win this game, so I'll take the 5 points all day long. I think the Raptors are in disarray. They have some locker room issues, some things that I know, some inside sources. But yeah, there are a few top players on that team are going to be gone, and I'm pretty sure Nick Nurse is all but gone out of team, and I think they know it as well. This will be the Toronto Raptors' last game of the season.
I mean, look, I can't argue with you on that. It does seem like he's gonna be gone. It does. That's the word is that Nurse is not gonna be retained this summer, and so or he's gonna depart one or the other. So I can't really like blame you there. I do like I'll look at numbers wise, I agree because like I have this pick 'em because my numbers hate the Raptors, right? My numbers hate the Raptors. They haven't been good all year. I just this Bulls team. My problem is like if I feel like the very identity of this Bulls team is that they lose the games where it's set up for them, where they're in like a good spot and they need to get a win. And this is like a good spot versus the Raptors team that you just mentioned. This is the one where they just get outworked and out hustled. And that's a bummer because I feel like they work and they hustle. Like I've liked this team since they had Patrick Beverley, but they drive me nuts with the inconsistency. Sean, why do you lean Bulls +5 here?
Let's start here. If I know it's not going to happen, but if we do pack up Nick Nurse and he does leave, bring him to Chicago. I would swap out Nick Nurse and Billy Donovan all day long. But I like the Bulls +5 in this spot. I think overall throughout the year, they're kind of similar squads. At the end of the year, they closed net rating extremely close. Neither team has been above 2 games above 500 all year. I thought that was a really interesting number. Teams that we thought would be better, they just were middling teams all year and never made a move. Both squads play way better basketball at home. Raptors 27-14. That's tied for 8th best in the NBA, and that's where this game is going to be played. But as Jay alluded to, since the Patrick Beverley deal, you know how no one wants to like look at the Lakers and be like, except Jay actually, and say with a straight face, like, yeah, they're coming, they're on the way, and everybody needs to buckle up. No one wants to give Pat Bev credit for him coming over to the Bulls and making them a better team, but they're 14-9 since he's got their second best overall defensive rating since he came over there. And also, I think in this one game spot with the turmoil internally with the Raptors going on, I like the Bulls superstars more in this spot. Give me the 5 points. I like DeMar DeRozan, of course, in the fourth quarter. Both teams depend on 3 guys to get the baskets. I trust Zach LaVine, Vucevic, and DeMar DeRozan, especially in the fourth quarter first. So I'm with you, Jay. I like the Bulls here +5. I'll take the points.
All right, I got to lean on the over. I'm going to say that's a lean rather than a best bet for a number of reasons. I will probably log this one in the app. It's 214.5. This is a really low number, obviously. Now, we talked about the defenses, right? Raptors can defend a little bit. Bulls #1 defense since Adam Pat Bev. Like, I get it. The big key here for me is transition. If you're the Raptors and you want to score, what's the only way you score? You get out and you run. Now, the Bulls transition defense is really good. They are actually the #1 team in preventing opponent time spent in transition. So like they're really good at that. I feel like Toronto is the team that takes teams like that and makes them run. I feel like they will be more aggressive. They will be more they will cause a little bit more mayhem. I think a lot of this is I guess I'll say this. If Jay's right, if Jay's right and the Raptors have lost the coil, if they're off, if they're spiraling off, if they're going gravity and drifting into nothingness like Quaron, then the Raptors defense is probably the first thing to go. That their commitment to one another probably spirals, and the Bulls, even with their non-3-point mid-range shooting asses, probably still put up a really good number here. If he's wrong, and the Raptors stay like, no, we're gonna get that playoff money. I'm gonna get my playoff money. That's what I'm gonna do before I get out of here. If I'm not losing to the Bulls, that's not a thing I'm doing. I'm not losing to the Bulls. If they do that, then the Raptors probably force things in transition, get up and down the floor. 214.5 to me is just too low into a number. Full season numbers, I got this 225. Even if I just like adjust this for, well, you know, it's a play-in game, so it's going to be a little bit more like grinded out, which we don't really have a lot of indications of, like not a lot of numbers to back that up from the limited sample we have. Knock 5 points off of it. That's still 220. I'm still 6 over. 214.5 is too low. I'm going to take the over 214.5. Okay. Elsewhere, I'm going to take the Oklahoma City Thunder +5.5 versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Thunder this season are the 4th best team on the road as a dog against the spread. They've been really good in this spot. The Pels have a really good home record as a favorite. However, since Zion went down, I went back to January, just 5-4-1 as a home favorite versus teams over 500. Thunder just like They're, okay, they're 40 and 42, not technically, but they've played like it over the last 3 months of the season. Mostly this is just like, look, I think the Zion thing hurts. I think just knowing like, man, like we're not going to get our guy back. We can't make a run. I think that hurts. I think losing that Wolves game, you had a double-digit lead and they got into a fight on the sideline and one dude punched a wall and you still lost. Shea is going to go absolutely ballistic versus the drop coverage of Jonas Valanciunas. Like you could put Herb Jones on him. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is him. Like he is going to get his points. So I like the Thunder plus 5.5 here. Sean, what do you think about that game?
Yeah, I mean, Wolves outscored the Pelicans 66-53 in that second half. So yeah, you're dead on with talking about spots where teams should capitalize. That was a good spot for the Pels to get a W, and they couldn't. So let's talk about. You talk about Zion not being around, and that hurts them. I think BI has loved that Zion's not been around, and he's closed out the year extremely strong. Yeah. And this is another spot for him to prove to everyone that, hey, it's my squad just as much as – actually, you know what? It's my squad because the other guy you say team it is never plays. So how about the guy that's always here that shows up nightly and puts up big numbers? I think BI is going to take that personally. I think overall, if you look at the year, the Thunder have had a better year, but the way that the Pelicans have closed, a majority of it has been really, really good. This is a really interesting game.
I mean, counter, BI is going to find himself in the torture chamber. So
yeah, and that's the torture chamber is a very real place. I love Lou Dort. I love how he plays the game. But it is interesting because I do think the overall franchise feels the way you laid out about Zion, but I also think it's a personal thing for BI to try to prove that, hey, I could do this thing solo with the rest of the guys that are actually here if necessary.
Yeah, he's playing awesome. Jay, what do you have any thoughts on Pels Thunder?
I lean Pelicans. I lean them early and often, to be honest with you. I think they have too much size, way too much size for the Thunder. I mean, I love SGA. He's a baller, but outside of him, I don't really trust the team offensively here versus the top tier Pelicans defensive team. You look at their recent performances as well. Before the Thunder won those last couple games, the meaningless games, before that, they were 0-9 against the spread. I don't think a lot of people were paying attention to that because they had covered so many spreads over the course of the year. The Pelicans were the exact opposite. They're 6-3-1 ATS in their last 10 games, 7-3 straight up as well. So I know that they lost that game versus the Timberwolves. I do think that they get a rematch in that exact same scenario, Pelicans versus Timberwolves in the what is it, 8-10 or whatever, 9-10 it'll turn into whatever. But I think the Timberwolves lose, they'll face up against the Pelicans again. I think the Pelicans win this game. Not going so far as to say that they can cover a spread, but I'll be honest, I lean Pelicans here. I think Valanciunas can do whatever the hell he wants down low. The Thunder do not have a real center in there. And then other than SGA, like I said, unless they're bombing threes, which they are possible to do, I don't think the Thunder have enough offense outside of SGA to win this game. So Pelicans are nothing for me, and I heavily lean to Pelicans first quarter as well. Thunder usually start out slow.
Yeah, don't underestimate that Pelicans home court. It's going to be rocking in there. They played really well at home all year, and the Thunder have struggled on the road as well.
All right, let's go wrap it up for buckets. Thanks for joining us. These are your play-in tournament games for Wednesday. Best bets. Jay and Sean are both on the Bulls plus 5. God help them. God be with them. I am on the over 214.5, and I'm taking the Oklahoma City Thunder plus 5.5 versus the Pelicans. Series previews all throughout the week. Check them out. You're not going to find better information than in these podcasts. We got them all breaking down for you, the best angles to take. We are going to have on Thursday, going into Friday, probably Thursday afternoon late, we're going to have Best Bets episode. That's going to break down all of the game ones for the weekend. I'm doing a massive pod with all of our contributors. I just have to figure out how. I'm going to bend space and time and get this done. On Friday, we're going to have a futures episode. It's going to talk about the best futures plays for the week. Check out everything in the Action Network app. We're going to have series previews in detail. I'm writing those previews. I got my cards up for the tournament, the play-in tournament, all that kind of stuff. Check it out in the Action Network app. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe. We appreciate your support. Our thanks to David Payne, our producer. We'll see you guys again next time. Till then, let's get buckets.